Good morning, my name is Abraham and I will be your chairperson for today's service. Are there any new visitors or new students and families here this morning? First, we will have Sambujo on page 24 in the big book, followed by Sudoku chanting on Junirai on page 20 in the little book, or page 67 in the big book.
徳自在子が将来みだそん地方妙門菩薩衆無料小魔女三段一生修上が力重
Now we'll have Gatha Real 1, which is on the first page of the little book handout, followed by the golden chain, which is located on page 2 in the little book, or page 15 in the big book under the golden chain.
Okay, this is a new Gatha. Everybody gotta sing loud. Elaine, Mrs. Jones has asked me to stand here before you and sing this song. But everybody gotta sing, okay? All right, so we practiced last week, remember? Oh, man. Yes, okay. Come gather round, hand in hand, listen to Amida's teaching. Listen with your heart, listen with your mind to Amida Buddha's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu, singing Namo Amida Butsu. All of the world is bright, singing Namo Amida Butsu, we are one. Peace and harmony in Amida's land, peace and harmony within me. Put our hands together, bow our heads, thankful for Amida's Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu, singing Namo Amida Butsu. All of the world right, singing Namo Amida Butsu, we are one. We are one. Yay! Good job.
The golden chain. I am
a
linked in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world, and I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts. I will think pure words, and I will do pure, beautiful deeds. May everything of Amita's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may always attend perfect peace. Nami Amida Basu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Nami Amida Basu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Nami Amida
Namo
Basu.
Amida Butsu.
Now we will have a Dharma lesson by Mrs. Assistant. Then Akizuki.
It's tough, I know. Akizuki. Please join me in Gassho and reciting Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, good morning. Welcome everybody joining us here in the Hondo and doing this at home. It's going to be an unusual topic today. How many of you know what Demon Slayer is? Raise your hand. Oh, okay, we have a few Demon Slayer. For those of you who don't know Demon Slayer, it's a very popular Japanese manga. That's manga, M-A-N-G-A, manga or graphic novels from Japan. The full name is Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, or Blade of Demon Destruction. The hero of Demon Slayer is Tanjiro Kamado, who wants to become a demon slayer after his family is killed by demons and his sister Nezuko is turned into a demon. So this is a very, very popular graphic novel in Japan. There are 23 volumes produced. More than 150 million copies have been sold. There's also an ongoing anime series and a movie, and the movie is the highest grossing Japanese film of all time. Not just the anime film, but any film. And in 2020, all of the Demon Slayer franchise generated 1 trillion yen, or $8.75 billion, making it the highest grossing media franchise of all time. It's pretty bloody, by the way, so I'm not advocating you, if you haven't watched it, you watch it, but there's a point to this. You may be wondering, what does Demon Slayer have to do with Buddhism? Well, there's something that appears in the Demon Slayer episode that can be found in the temple. Any ideas? Any guesses? Yes? Demons? Oh, I don't know. Maybe you have the ability to see demons that no one else can, but no, that's not it. So if you take out the big book, okay, go to page 103. So, in season 3 of the animated series, a demon slayer named Shinazugawa Genya is battling 2 demons and looks to be defeated and is near death. He begins saying something. And what does he say? He says, Sha-e koku, gi-ji kiko doku on. He's reciting the Amida Kyo when he's near death. So he goes on, actually, and he recovers, and he wins. The Amida Sutra is one of the 3 sutras that are the main sutras in our form of Buddhism, right? There's and the sutras are like lessons that the historical Buddha taught, and his disciples recorded them and wrote them down, and they became sutras, right? So there's actually thousands and thousands of sutras, and out of the thousands of sutras, we emphasize 3 sutras. One of them is the Sutra of Buddha of Immeasurable Life, and that's kind of a mouthful. It's also known, I think, as the larger sutra. And the other one is the Sutra of Contemplation of the Buddha of Immeasurable Life, also known as the Contemplation Sutra. And the other one is just Amida Sutra. Now, the Amida Sutra is the only one you're going to find in here, because the other ones, the larger sutra and the Contemplation Sutra, are very, very long. I think it could take hours to recite them all the whole thing. So they're done occasionally in Japan, according to Mikame, segments of it, not the whole thing necessarily. We do Amida Kyo in some temples, not necessarily here, but I've seen recordings of other temple services, and they're chanting the Amida Kyo. So what the Amida Kyo is, it's something that Shakyamuni Buddha said to his disciples, hundreds of them gathered around, and he describes the beauty of the Pure Land and the virtues of Amida Buddha. So that's what this Genya, that's what he's saying. And then one of the demons he's fighting says, what is he chanting? The Amida Sutra? How devout he is. Now, devout means showing deep religious feeling or commitment. But if you listen to exactly what, in Japanese, what they're saying, you could hear the word shinjin. Shinjin, have you heard Shinjin? Familiar to you? Okay, shinjin, well, it's kind of complicated to describe, but you can say that it's true and trusting, maybe faith. So that's what he's displaying, right, in this hour of real crisis for him. So what else do you think Genya could say, a Buddhist, something that we learn here in the temple? What else could he say in that situation? He might say Namo Idaotsu. The only thing is, there's actually another character who says that. There's another character, there are 9 the strongest demon slayers. And one of them, Himejime Kyome, he recites the Nembutsu. He's a big guy. He's kind of a giant character. he wears clothing that has Namami Dabutsu written in Japanese kanji. Here, he carries a no juzu, and when something sad happens, he actually starts to cry. He puts his hands together and says Namami Dabutsu. So Tanjiro is the main character. One thing he displays Buddhist trait is he has compassion, where other demon slayers kind of rejoice when they kill a demon. Tanjiro he feels sorry for the demon. He wonders, what was the demon like before they became a demon? So, Mikame-sensei loaned this to me. So this is Gyome right here, and you can see it's too little for you to see here, but he actually is doing Gassho here in this. This is the main character, Tanjiro, right here. And these are the nine main demon slayers, the top ones. And the one who recited the Amida-kyo is actually the younger brother, I think, of this one. So it turns out that demon slayer actually has a lot of roots in Buddhism. In fact, if you Google demon slayer in Buddhism, you'll come up with articles about that. Another thing is the demons are repelled and can even be hurt by wisteria, purple wisteria. So where can we see wisteria here? Right here. Wisteria. So if you see demons here, well, we don't have real wisteria, but they would be repelled by wisteria. So I think it's, what does it mean? It's just kind of cool. I think we see Buddhism in something popular as Demon Slayer. And it's present in other manga, other anime too. So if you've noticed this, why don't you come up and tell me afterwards? But at least I think it generates some interest in Buddhism and Jodo Shinshu. And as evidence of that, I came across an article of Demon Slayer, what is the Amida Sutra? So if somebody was looking for the Amida Sutra, they could actually learn a little bit about that because of Demon Slayer. So that's what I have to say today. Thank you very much. Would you please join me in Gassho and reciting the Nembutsu? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Mr. Akizuki. We will now have Gatha Sayonara on page 103 in the little book, followed by the promise located on page 5 in the little book or page 13 in the big book. The promise. We thank a Buddha for showing us the way from freedom. We will walk in his noble path every day in our lives. Nami Nami Dabushi.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Nami Nami Dabushi.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Nami Nami Dabushi.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you to Rinban, Sakamoto, Reverend, Mikame, Mr. Jones, what? Mr. Jones, Mr. Akizuki, Mrs. Tanabe, and there's Elena. Does that say Elena? Elaine Jones. Are there any announcements?
Good morning. Got several announcements. You're all invited to Arigato Reiko, a thank you event gathering for Reiko Uenaga, our head Dharma Obon dance instructor who is stepping down after 25 years. The event is free, scheduled from 2 to 4 p.m. Sunday, November 12th in the annex. Please, we need a head count, so notify the office, or you can go online and register that way. Next week, we will have a pet memorial service. So if you had a pet who lost a pet, you can come bring a photo, or maybe even just the name of the pet if you don't have a photo, and we'll put them up in front of the altar. So that'll be next week at the Dharma School service. Later that day, there's also a Japanese language service. So if you know anybody who speaks Japanese and would like to participate in that, that's 11 a.m. And this Wednesday, it's also Open Temple Day. So what Open Temple Day is, we throw open the doors. Anybody wants to come in from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. is welcome to join us. If they want to just come in and sit, that's fine. If they have some questions, there'll be people to answer. And if you're just in the neighborhood and want to say hello, come in and say hello.
Good morning, Michael Jones. So I have an announcement. By the way, if you ever wondered why the minister's assistants wear these with the wisteria crutch, now you know why we do that. But anyway, so on October 14th, Minamoto is sponsoring an LGBTQ awareness and acceptance day. And we've got a program that goes from 1 to 5 in the annex. And we'd really like to see a lot of people attend. And we really want to reach out to the youth and their parents. Because one of the aspects of making this a safe place is making it a place free from bullying, free from pressure on kids to fit in, to somehow do something that they don't want to do so they can prove their worthiness and so on. And that's just not the way that we want to behave here. That's not a safe place. And so those are the types of discussions that we want to have in these types of forums. So we encourage broad participation. It's open to everybody. It's listed on Eventbrite. You'll see these little tags and posters around. And if you use the QR code, that'll take you right to the Eventbrite site, and you can register. It's $10. So 1 to 5 on Saturday, October 14th. We'll preview a film called A Profound Silence, which is a really meaningful film specifically for the Japanese American community, but it has broader implications as well. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Caden,
And I am Trevor, and we're both from Boy Scout Troop 611.
Boy Scouts is having our e-waste event on Saturday, October 1st from 21st from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The list of what is not accepted can be found on the flyer in the back of the Hondo.
Thanks for supporting Troop 611.
Good morning. I'm Miss Rodriguez. We're actually doing our first junior choir practice today, so if anybody wants to join, you don't have to be signed up or anything. Just meet us here in the Hondo at 11:15, so after Dharma school. Okay, thanks.
Hi, I'm Phyllis Sugimoto, and I have actually two announcements. The first being is that BWA, the Buddhist Women's Association of this temple, is very honored to be part of the Nikkei Matsuri Artisan Fair, and that's going to be held on October 28th, which is the last Saturday of the month, here in the annex from 10 to 4. So if you've been missing some BWA crafts, this is your perfect opportunity to stop by and see us. The second announcement I have is basically a save the date. Panda Express is very generous to us, and we are having a fundraiser for the Federation of Buddhist Women's Association conference that we're having in 2024. We've been working on this conference for several years, so to think that it's only a year away now is kind of exciting. So here's your opportunity to help support the event by ordering your Panda Express. I think there are flyers in the back. I'll be back, or someone will be back every Sunday, but in case you're wondering, the secret code that you need is 915563. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Phyllis. Secret code, right? Now you all know. This is just for high school. My name is Mas Nishmura. I teach high school. I need two other parents. We're going to do a scavenger hunt activity. So I need two parents that are in reasonably good shoes and all that to just chase the kids around, because we're going to divide the class into, I think, 2 or 3 groups. So thank you. Just go to my classroom, which is in Little Chapel. Thank you.
Before everyone leaves the temple, please straighten all the books for the next service. Those of you who are interested are welcome to attend the adult English service following this service, or you are welcome to stop by the open door cafe tent outside in the front garden. For your safety, please obey the crossing guards and look both ways before crossing the street. Thank you for attending today's service.
Good job, thank you.
Hi, thank you. Okay, thank you. Todd, okay, thank you. Todd doesn't want to. Okay. Thank you.
Good job, thank you.
Thank you, Yuki. Arigato.
Michael? Can you come down for just a second? Sorry, there's some questions about Minna Nomura. starting our pop quiz?
It was supposed to be this week, but I did not get there, so I
Okay,
will,
good.
I'll send it out for next week. And I'll make sure you know in advance.
Okay. Are you chairing?
I am.
Okay.
Better be a good message today.
I'm speaking. Yeah, we have,
Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Onishi. I'll be your chairperson for this morning service. Just a reminder, there's no food or drink in the Hondo here. Are there any new people here, new first-time visitors who've never been here before? Would you like to introduce yourself? If you'd like. Totally up to you. Great, well, welcome. Thank you for coming to this morning. Hopefully you'll find something interesting, something that will interest you here. You're certainly welcome here. We'll begin this morning's service with Sambujo on page 20. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I can't see that far. Welcome. We're very glad that you're here.
Hi, I'm Miguel. I'm here because I'm taking anthropology, religious anthropology, and one of my assignments was to attend a session. So I'm excited to be here.
Very good. Thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully you'll learn something here today with us. We'll start this morning's service with Sambujo on page 24 in the large service book, followed by the sutra chanting Junirai on page 67 in the large service book, or on page 20 in the small service book.
namandam, 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 namandam.
Now please rise for Gatha, We Are One, which is on the first page of the yellow handout. And please remain standing for the three treasures, which is on page 3 of the small Dharma School service book.
Okay, so we learned this Gatha last week. We all sang this. So you'll have to sing very loud now, okay? Okay. Come gather round, hand in hand, listen to Amida's teaching. Listen with your heart, listen with your mind to Amida Buddha's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu, singing Namo Amida Butsu. All of the world cried, singing Namo Amida Butsu. We are one. Peace and harmony, peace and harmony within me. Put our hands together, bow our heads, thankful to Amida's dear. Namo Amida Butsu, singing Namo Amida Butsu. All of the world in pride, singing Namo Amida Butsu. We are one. We are one. If you'll please join now in the reading of the three treasures found in the Dharma School service book on page 3. Hard is it to be born into human life, and now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning and welcome to this morning's service. Both those of you who are gathered here, of course, in our Hondo, and those of you who are watching from over the internet. I'm glad, happy to have all of you join us for this morning's service. And thank you for those of you who are here for negotiating the street closures. We had no idea that there was going to be this run going on through our streets this morning. Usually we're notified, and then we kind of let people know that there's going to be a kind of a problem parking. But this was unannounced. I guess they had a spur of the moment decision to have a run. I have no idea. But again, thank you for being here this morning. If you had a chance to be in our Dharma school service, or if you did not have a chance to be in our Dharma school service, you should, when you get home, you can view that on YouTube. Mr. Akizuki gave a wonderful message and kind of little, what is it? What is that word I'm looking for? Intimidated. Intimidated? Is that the word? No, I'm not. But go watch. It was a great story, a wonderful story. And he even had props that he had. Mikame Sensei is a Demon Slayer fan. So yeah. I didn't realize that's such a big franchise, $1 billion franchise. This one anime manga series, and a lot of stories associated with that series. Our daughter Eleanor is a translator with Crunchyroll, and she's been doing this for some time. I don't think she's worked on Demon Slayer, but on other manga and anime as well. And one of the challenges of translating is to be able to give, in that translation, the cultural references, make that reference correctly to convey what the original story might be trying to say. And there was one story about soccer, and whenever one of the characters would do something, he would say, I think it's damandabs, and they tried, the original translation was like amen or something, and that didn't quite fit, and so Eleanor had to convince the editors that it would, a more proper way of saying that would be either to keep that phrase and have the readers become familiar with this new phrase, or to translate it something differently anyway. I forget how that was actually resolved. But things like Shinjin, I'm surprised that Shinjin was actually in that anime, or in that manga, and part of the Amida Kyo also in that. So anyway, go back, go home and watch the YouTube version, or YouTube of Mr. Akizuki's Dharma message this morning. I have a less exciting Dharma message. Oh man, maybe we should just watch, rewind it and watch over, sit down and watch it together. But thank you anyway for that Dharma message, really wonderful. What I wanted to talk about was when Sasaki Sensei, if you remember a few weeks ago, Reverend Sasaki came from Japan to participate in the IMOP program, which is the Buddhist Churches of America's orientation program for ministers that are coming from Japan or entering the country to prepare them for their assignment abroad. And the IMOP students not only come to BCA, once they're completed that, not only come to BCA, but some of them, actually they have to go through the IMOP program, which is International Ministers Orientation Program. And they go through that program. They come here, spend some time, become familiar with some of the practices here in the West, and then they return to Japan and then decide where they would like to go, and they need to let Honzan know, the international office, know what their decision was. And they could either come here to Buddhist Church of America, go to Canada, go to Hawaii, and in some cases go to South America. So although we're responsible for managing and administering this program, the students that come to the IMOP program can go on to other districts. But a few weeks ago, Professor Reverend Sasaki was our guest speaker here and came participating in the IMOP program. And in that, during the time that he was here, one of the things that we here at San Jose were responsible for was providing him with some understanding of the governance, the structure, the internal structure of a Buddhist temple, which is quite different from the way temples are in Japan. And Mr. Onishi was responsible for providing that information. And so one of the things I learned about Japanese temples, they are, of course, all family, most of them are family temples. So the temple has been passed down within the family, as with Mikame Sensei's temple, for 360 years. The temple has been within her family in Shimane, wait now. Oda City, Sambujo, okay. That I can remember, that I should be very proud that I can remember that much. But her family, the temple has been within her family for some 360 years. But what I learned was that although the temple is within the family, and this is a recent decision, recent meaning probably within the past 100 years or so. In Japanese history, 100 years is recent. But in order for a temple to be a temple, although it's a family temple, they're required to have a board of at least 4 people that come from the community that have to be a part of the temple structure, so that it's not completely separate from what's going on within the community, and that it's a temple that the government can determine is actually a temple. In a way, that's true for us as well. We cannot simply declare a gathering of people a temple. It has to have a minister that is assigned to that temple. So like our Morgan Hill Sangha is not a temple. It doesn't have an assigned full-time minister to that gathering. A few years ago, there was some thought that maybe Morgan Hill would become independent, but as we started to go through the process of establishing an independent temple, it became kind of overwhelming. They had to do a lot of requirements in order for that to take place. And so that kind of process was kind of brought to an end. And so who knows, sometime in the future, we may have Morgan Hill as an independent temple of the Buddhist Churches of America. But when Sasaki Sensei was here, after we talked about the governance, and Sasaki Sensei is a Shikyo, highly regarded scholar of the Honganji. And there's a whole history behind that title of Shikyo and the Kangaku ranking of scholars within the Honganji. That this originated, again, fairly recently, about 100 years ago, when there was a big controversy within the Honganji that caused a tremendous upheaval. And in order to settle that, the government was involved in settling that dispute. The Honganji was put on probation, so they had to stop all operations for 100 days, I think. They couldn't do anything. And this is our main temple, right? The Honganji was put on probation. You can't do anything. You have to close your doors because of the controversy. But out of this controversy came this panel of Kangaku and ranking of the Shikyo is the level just before Kangaku. And Sasaki Sensei is a Shikyo. And we're very fortunate if he is able to come and join us here in the Buddhist Church of America, who bring tremendous resources to our organization. But what was very odd with his visit to San Jose, my responsibility was to share with him my understanding. But it was primarily it had to do with social welfare. So the following week, he returned, and on a Friday morning, once a month, we prepare meals. Betsuin has volunteers. Sangha Support prepares meals to take to our one of the shelters here in San Jose. It's been for the past few years the Julian Street shelter, and so he had a wonderful opportunity to not only hear about what we do here, but also to participate in one of the activities, to actually prepare meals and then to take that to a shelter here. One of the things we talked about, though, was why is it within Buddhism that we should be concerned with what's going on in our community? Why should we be involved and engaged in what is happening outside of our temple? And I think that's really an important idea. Well, what is the basis for being engaged? We talk about compassion, we talk about kindness, but shouldn't we be doing things with that understanding, not just within our temple, not just within our Sangha, but shouldn't we be doing something outside? And so I shared with him my understanding, and that's what I've been doing for a long time now. Whenever the IMOP program is in session, and they often will send their students here for kind of a dialogue about social engagement. And what I shared with Sasaki Sensei was the story of the enlightenment of Shakyamuni Buddha. And one of the things that Shakyamuni Buddha faced at the very end of, we know the story of he left his home, studied for a while with 5 monks that eventually became his disciples, and then he decided it wasn't working, so he would sit down and think about what he was doing. And when he sat down to think about things, the 5 disciples, kind of his 5 followers left him. And Siddhartha was left there alone. And the story is he sat under the Bodhi tree and thought through what he understood and what he had experienced. And then toward that end of that period of Siddhartha sitting beneath this tree, the story is, or the legend is, that he was challenged by Mara. And the challenges that Mara faced or threw against Siddhartha was, first of all, his armies to try and unseat Siddhartha from the seat of enlightenment. So he sent his armies against Siddhartha. And as weapons were thrown at Siddhartha, they turned into flowers and fell to the ground. Mara tried to send his daughters to seduce Siddhartha, but this didn't work as well. Maya challenged Siddhartha and said, why do you have a right to do this? Why do you have the right to proclaim yourself as the enlightened one? And Siddhartha put his hand to the earth, and he said, the earth stands as my witness, and the earth shook. Then finally, Mara told Siddhartha, okay, you win. You have experienced enlightenment, you have experienced nirvana, but it's not complete until you experience parinirvana, so the complete extinguishing. And so nobody is going to understand what you've experienced and what you talk about. Nobody's going to understand that. So you should just kind of enjoy what you have worked so hard to achieve and simply go out. And later on, Siddhartha would share that with his students. And he said that that was probably one of the most difficult challenges that Mara presented to him, that no one would understand. This was such a profound insight into our experience as human beings. And Siddhartha was not a deity. Siddhartha was not some extraordinary being outside of our experience as human beings. And Mara's challenge is nobody would understand. And Siddhartha said that that was probably one of the most difficult challenges that he faced. Not the armies, not the smartest daughters, not the challenge of who stood for him, who was his witness, but that nobody would understand. And to that, Siddhartha responded, even if one person understood, then it would be worth it. And with that, Mara was defeated. And Siddhartha was able to enter the world, our everyday world. It's in that moment when Siddhartha gets up from the seat of enlightenment that I think we kind of overlook, that it's important that we think about, and that moment in history when, and this is a literal moment in history. It is not a legend, it is not a kind of a mysterious, Siddhartha getting up from the seat of enlightenment to share what he experienced with the world. I think that's something that we as Buddhists should think about. It's not sitting within our temples, it's not being kind of comfortable with our teachings and and studying those teachings, but it's actually taking that and going out into the world. When we look at our temple, there are many examples of that same idea. First of all, there's this gaku, which is kai hozo. The three characters are read kai hozo, the top character kai, the middle character ho, and the lower character zo. And we've seen this many times, and we've heard about kai hozo, its origins in the larger Pure Land Sutra in Jusege, which we often read in our services. But this kai hozo means to open up the Dharma storehouse. It's Dharmakara before Lokeshvara Raja making this pledge, right, to open up the Dharma storehouse, to move into the world, not simply to enjoy that enlightenment and remain seated. But Dharmakara goes on to fulfill this and becomes Amida Buddha. There's also the statue of Amida Buddha that leans slightly forward. And if you look at it, you can't really see it. You need to kind of look at it from its side. And you see it leaning slightly forward. The only time that statue has actually been out of the Hondo, since the time it was brought into the Hondo, 80 years ago, I guess, the only time that it went out of the Hondo was when Sumi and I were asked to look for a bomb in this building. We had a bomb scare. It was Ohigan, I think. This was when Ohata Sensei was here. And we got a bomb scare. And so everybody went across the street. Does anybody remember this? Oh, okay, Lily remembers. Nobody else remembers? Oh, okay. So, Ohigan, I think it was Ohigan, but it was a large, major service. And so we moved everybody across the street, and we were standing in the parking lot. And I went and I took the statue down, wrapped it in a furoshiki, and then gave it to Ohata Sensei. And then Sumi and I, all the police officers arrived, and they said, okay, now you have to go in and look for the bomb. I said, wait, now, where's your dog, bomb-sniffing dog? Aren't you supposed to be going to the building? He said, so Sumi and I had to come to the building, and the reason was because we would know what was supposed to be here, most likely not supposed to be here. So I looked at Sumi and I said, Sumi, we're looking for something that could explode. And she said, yeah. So we had to walk through, Sumi and I had to walk through the Hondo and through the office and go look for a bomb. But that was the only other time. So the reason the statue is leaning forward is not because I put it back crooked. It's because it expresses that moving out into the world, that it's not just sitting within our temples, but to actually move out into the world, to do something, to express that in our actions, express that what we learn within the teachings of the Buddha, and to share that with all beings, not just the Sangha, not just those who are agreeable to us, but to move out into the world and open up the Dharma storehouse. The Nembutsu, Namamidabutsu, is something that we can feel in our lives, a sense of gratitude for, that we are assured as we are of the eventual resolution of difficulties that is at the core of the teachings of the Buddha. And that Amida Buddha's assurance allows us to kind of recognize our own limitations. But even though we have those limitations, we can still go out into the world, do what we can to do something in the world. Namamidabutsu simply is an expression of gratitude and appreciation that as we are affirmed and assured of the eventual resolution of difficulties. Namamidabutsu, we are able to be ourselves as we are, with all of our limitations, all of our inconsistencies, and still be able to be a part of the world, make a contribution, help in whatever way we can. The visit by Sasaki Sensei a couple of weeks ago, and sharing that with him, hopefully it made sense. I don't know. He didn't seem particularly aware of these legends of Shakyamuni Buddha. But I'm sure after he went back to think about what, his focus is, of course, on Jodo Shinshu, but at the core of the Jodo Shinshu, we too are Buddhists, and we share in that same legends. As we think about Shakyamuni Buddha, as we think about Shinran Shonin, we are grateful for these examples that we can use in trying to live our lives in the best way possible. Okay, thank you very much. You please join in Gassho in Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much, everyone.
So don't go anywhere. Please rise for Gatha, Ondokusan II on page 76 in the small service book.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated.
At this time, are there any announcements?
Hi, I'm Phyllis Sugimoto, representing the BWA, the Buddhist Women's Association. I have several announcements, but I'll try to make them quick. First of all, we have a fundraiser Pizza with a Purpose, there's flyers in the back. It's at the California Pizza Kitchen, but not the one at Valley Fair, okay? This one is at a different address in Santa Clara, and the date on that is October 18th. So if you'd like to support this fundraiser and you feel like eating at California Pizza Kitchen, this is the place to go. The next one is that San Jose BWA is really happy to participate in the Nikkei Matsuri Artisan Fair that will be held on Saturday, October 28th. This is our second year that we're actually participating in an event outside of our temple. So it's kind of nice to be part of the community, part of the Japantown. So please, if you're available, October 28th, 10 to 4, and it'll be held this year in the annex next door. The next announcement I have is it's a save the date. The Federation of Buddhist Women's Association, we're having our conference in 2024, and the Federation is basically national, but it's not national because Hawaii has their own Kyodan, so it's the Federation in the United States. And that fundraiser is scheduled for Friday, November 3rd. So we have a few more weeks to that. I'll be back again next week, or someone will be, to announce that. There is a code that you need, and I believe there are flyers in the back if you can check that out. And the last announcement I have is that we're having a paint party. So if any of you are interested in supporting this fundraiser for BWA, it's going to be on Saturday, November 4th. The time is 1 o'clock here in the gym annex, and the cost is $40 a person. And I believe there are also flyers in the back. Thank you.
Good morning, Dennis Akizuki. Got a couple of announcements. So a lot of you know that Reiko Iwanaga, who's been our Obon dance and head instructor for about 25 years, is stepping down, and we're having a little party to thank her. It's going to be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Sunday, November 12th in the Annex building. Light refreshments and some entertainment. You're all invited. We need to get a head count, so if you let the office know, or you can go online at the church website. I think there's a way for you to RSVP there. Also, this Wednesday is Open Temple Day. That's once every month. We open up the doors of the temple on a Wednesday, and anybody can come in. You could just come in and sit down, come in and just look around, or if you have questions, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. this Wednesday. So if you happen to be in a neighborhood, stop on by and say hi, and spread the word. If maybe you have some friends who want to come by, we get people walk by all the time and they've never been in the temple, and this gives them a chance to come inside and see. So all are welcome. Thank you.
Good morning, Michael Jones for Minanomura. So our Minanomura group, our Village for Everyone, which is an LGBTQ outreach group, is having an awareness and acceptance event on Saturday, October 14th from 1 to 5 p.m. in the Annex. We will be showing the film A Profound Silence, which was produced by the Gardena Buddhist Temple's Ichi-Me group, which is a similar LGBTQ plus outreach group. But this film focuses on the stories of several Asian American and Japanese American families and what they've been through, both members of the LGBTQ community and allies of the community. And they're going to have a couple of representatives up from Gardena to help us, and also Mrs. Janet Umezu will be there as well on hand to help us to run some discussions and so on. So we really want to make sure everybody's included. We want to make sure everybody gets a chance to see that it's a wonderful film. It's about 25 minutes long, but it's a really well done film. So we'd like to have you see that, and also just to have more discussion about how we can make this a safe place for everyone. Okay, thank you.
I forgot to thank Reverend Sakamoto, Rinban Sakamoto, for his Dharma talk today. Made me think about some things. I'm sure most of you don't know, but a few weeks ago, we actually had smoke reported coming off the top of our education building. And so the fire department was called, came in. Fortunately, they didn't find anything, but if I had known better, we would have sent Reverend Sakamoto up there to go check it out, man. You have to remember that one. Anyway, thank you all for attending today. I'd like to thank Rinban Sakamoto, Reverend Mikame, Dennis Akizuki, Michael Jones, Sumi Tanabe, and our organist, Elaine Jones. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming, and please come forward to offer incense. Thank you.
All kinds of excitement.
We should send them up on the road.
They're more qualified. Just crazy.
I like crazy talk.